Grant, Dania now.
It's Grant, Dania.
The gold logie this year. Oh my God, it's Grant Dania.
And our mom, Chezzi Dania. She's really crazy.
It's all true.
It's All True, the podcast with Grant and Chezzi Dania.
Hey, all truers! What's up? Bitches!
Well, this is a little bit weird again.
Why?
Because George isn't here. Because George actually has another job.
That bloody traitor. What
And
a little bitch.
And we love you, George.
Supposed to be
And
our
bitch. We really miss you.
because he was a young, impressionable person of which we could take advantage of. You know what I mean? He's keen, and then that's keen equals free labour. What is he doing going and feathering his own nest, furthering his own career? That little bastard.
We love you, George. So George isn't here.
Yeah.
He's working, which is fine because he'll be back next week, and he's working on his massive, big grand finale, which is super exciting.
Yeah. Okay, he's off the hook now. You're right. He's working
he
on a
is.
little piece for our final episode for the year.
But because he's not here, we thought that we have to fill the space with somebody who's really awesome.
This is not a space filler. This is amazing. This is not
true.
just
True.
replace one with, a half-ass measure. This is amazing because this
is true.
This centers around my favorite TV show, right? Okay,
Yeah.
there's two things, Yellowstone and Below Deck. Now, Below Deck, if you haven't seen it, is this incredible show that's about the lives of people who work on super yachts in the Mediterranean.
Yeah.
Like those big-ass billionaire boats. And these are the staff that kind of run them.
And you love the
I
show.
love it. I freaking love it. I love the drama of the people. You know what? Let's talk about it to the person who we're getting on today because she was the star of, I don't know, was it the first series? I'm not really sure. She was very early on. She's Australian. Let's get her on now. Let's let her in so she can talk to us about, what it's like to work in the Mediterranean with wealthy people.
Yeah.
Let's see if she's ready to rock. Here she comes. Hey! How are you, mate?
Give her an applause.
Oh, Jesus Christ. There's the applause.
We're good on the sound effects.
Ladies and gentlemen, Hannah Ferrier! We're live in the potty. Thanks for joining us, Dale. This is big. This is big for me.
Because
Thank you for having me.
He absolutely loves you. In fact, there was a period there where I was accusing him of having some kind of affair because he was always in the bedroom watching Below Deck.
You were the door locked, which is weird. No, only joking. Although you do look similar, both of you. No, great. It's great to have you with us. We just did a little intro just prior to you just jumping on, which is about I love the show. I love the dreamy aspect of what life would be like if money was limitless. You're on billion-dollar yachts. You're hanging with the hoity-toity in the Med. You on Below Deck was obscenely amazing. So thank you for coming and sharing.
Thank you.
Yeah, you really were, because I'm not that into boats. Like, I like them. I could not have lived in the quarters where you lived.
No, many can't.
No.
But that's what makes it great. It's not just the scenery or the rich people to come on who act like dicks. It's also what happens when you push people together in close confines for extended periods and the explosion of personalities. And is that what made the show so good, do you reckon?
I think so, yeah. I've always said Below Deck's kind of a perfect storm for reality TV because production really don't need to do anything. They don't need to poke. They don't need to mess things up because when you're going at that pace and you've got, it's even comes down to it's different personality traits, but a lot of it's different cultures as well. You've got people from all different walks of life, all different parts of the world, and that really makes for interesting TV.
And the Aussies are always the best.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
You just cut through, man. Like, you had a great sense of humour. You were firm.
And you just get shit done. Let's be honest.
But you're a powerhouse. Absolute powerhouse.
Well, thanks. I'm dealing with a 2-year-old and definitely not feeling like a powerhouse right now.
Absolutely powerless. We're all powerless now.
Yeah. Did you know when you were young that that's what you wanted to do? You wanted to work on boats, or did you just end up in that environment?
I actually grew up down the road from this woman. She was like my adopted mother, and she was an air hostess. So a flight attendant. And I always loved her kind of the travel side of her job. And then I got into IT and telecommunications, into the corporate world. And I went over to France and just fell in love with the south of France. I actually like came back and Googled, what can you do speaking English in the south of France? And yachting came up. So I was like, oh, I'll go do that then.
With no experience in boats whatsoever, just wanting to do something in the south of France. Love that.
Yeah, but that's the amazing thing when you look back, because like at my age now, I would never do something like that. And it's kind of the stupidity that you have at 22 years old to just go like, oh, I'll just go and like clean toilets on super yacht. See you later. It's yeah.
Well, that's not like cleaning, a toilet at Macca's in Penrith. You know what I mean? Like it's a slightly better kind of toilet.
Hey, the Macca's in Penrith.
We know because we use that all the time with our kids. when we're driving home from
and the
Sydney.
Macca's in Penrith, Macca's, we're looking to sponsor our show. So we do really like Macca's and their toilets.
Well, the worst thing was we went on, we were down to Bowral where my dad lives the other day. And like Ava saw the golden arches. She's like, ah! I was like, oh God. This is a good sign.
Advertising really works.
I know. Yeah. By your third child, you just pull in. You're just like, yeah, nuggets. Like with
anything to shut you little shits up.
Especially on a long trip. Yeah.
I was just on the phone with my manager and he's like, are you looking forward to the weekend? I'm like, only so there's another human in the house to deal with my child. I don't even care about time off or spending time with Josh. Just someone else in the house to help me deal with the 2-year-old terrorist.
Well, see, I thought my wife would feel that way about me because I come and go for work. But I literally come home and just are another child. So it's just like another extra, it's an added layer of effort for her rather than just like another adult sounding board where you can just talk about theories of life together. I actually make life harder by being around.
Well, because we have 3 daughters who all talk at rapid speed non-stop when he comes back, and everyone's fighting for Grant's attention. So nothing gets done.
But if you've done like say, I don't know 15 game shows in about 72 hours, you don't have the ability to talk anyway. Like you're pretty much mute by that stage. So I come home to a house full of girls and all they do is talk at me. So it kind of works.
Balances itself out in the end.
But I kick this around with my daughter Sailor, who's now how old is she? 11.
That's how much he likes boating. We've got a daughter called Sailor.
Oh, that's a good point actually.
Aww.
Yeah. And I thought, what would be a great career for someone who's just finding themselves, they're 18, maybe, they're spreading the wings, trying to think about what the world is and where they should be. It seems like a great way for someone to have their first taste of, not depending on their parents and living at home.
Yeah. So I get asked this quite often because I've obviously got my training school that teaches people how to get into the yachting industry and how to do the job. I would sooner lock my daughter in a basement than allow her to work in yachting.
Wow. Do you say that as your opening line when you're training people?
Is that because of the Randy boys who are also working on there or just...
I think it's because a lot of the time when I was over in the Med before Below Deck, I worked for the Russian mafia, one of the biggest arms dealers in the world. And they're not kind of good people, No. So I think I just saw too much and experienced too much of the dark side of yachting to kind of allow my daughter. But I do think it's an amazing thing for people to do.
You just edit that part out.
So maybe just hire a catamaran around the Whitsundays. Just leave it at that.
Yeah, exactly. There's that option as well.
Hey, you went there, and I was going to work up to that because we don't really know each other, but this is the shit I want to talk about. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the Russians and the arms dealers.
Yeah.
This is juicy as fuck. So, what can you say without getting murdered in your sleep?
Oh, crap.
What?
Oh, they can't get into the country anymore anyway.
Yay!
They're tied up in a war at the moment.
Yeah, they're busy with other people. Give me 5 years. No, so I think it's basically, especially in the Med, you kind of either work for the charter boats, which is, the kind of celebrities, or you work on private Russian boats is the two that are the biggest kind of pools. And I think it has, I also had some really amazing and crazy experiences and stories that came from, working for the Russians. They've definitely got like a lot of character. But there was definitely, I remember
You're so
one
diplomatic.
one time it was like they had to get a submarine to come and sit at the bottom of the yacht to ensure that there was no other submarines coming to listen to conversations that were being had on board and things like that. And I was like, okay, like what are these conversations that we need a whole ass submarine sitting below us,
Oh my God. What kind of security checks do they make you go through to work on the boat? Or they ask you if you can speak Russian?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, right.
If you can't speak Russian, then
Hang
you
on.
can't
Well,
understand anything.
if they affected the outcome of the US election, they would probably already know what she's been up to. You know what I mean? Like they have their ways.
Yeah, so they
This
did
is
like
true.
a
Now
full
you're freaking
background
me
check.
out.
Yeah, that is so bizarre, isn't it?
So what? Yeah.
Were you scared?
Are they politicians? Are they just billionaire businessmen? Like what? Who's hiring a sub to sit below?
They're bad dudes.
Yeah, and a lot of times all of them in one.
Yeah.
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 So yeah.
That's a
But
bond.
no, I wasn't so much scared. I think I'd be scared now.
Yeah.
When you're 23 years old, you don't think like that.
That's so true. We've spoken about that a lot. I once scaled a 12-story building on the outside after too many tequila shots. Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now
you just you do crazy, stupid things.
Yeah.
And now you're just like, you sneeze, you go to the doctor, you're like, hi, is there something wrong with me? Am I okay? Am I going to die?
I sneeze and I have like almost prolapse vagina, so I try not to.
Oh, I hear you. Don't worry.
So I think I've heard you say this before. So would you be responsible for getting other types of people on board for these unsavory types?
No, that was usually the captain, which was good.
Right.
But sometimes it would be like we'd be like in the arse end of Italy and it's like 11 o'clock at night, So I'd be responsible for looking after them when they came on board, which was so much fun.
Oh, no.
Well, these are adult entertainers, I assume.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And quite often they would come on and then not do anything anyway.
Right.
They'd change their minds or something.
Oh, right. I realise this is all a bit too heavy for even them. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
exactly.
bit hard to just get off.
Yeah. What do you do then? And that's the thing, because my mind goes straight to James Bond villains, right? So I think, what if something goes wrong? What if one of the girls turns down the boss? And do people just disappear?
They just get pushed
Do
overboard.
people disappear?
I never had anyone disappear on my boat, thank God.
Oh God, yeah.
But quite often they'd come to me for help. So
Oh, no.
That's a difficult situation.
That's scary. Yeah, you'd have to sort of look after them and protect them.
Yeah, but they might have come and said, "Can you help me fix my nipple tassel?"
Oh yeah,
Because
it's
broken."
coming off. It's coming.
Yeah.
well, it wasn't the 80s, so that never happened.
Nipple tassel.
I don't know.
I can't do my show with just one nipple tassel.
Yeah, exactly. I might flash someone. Lord forbid.
Was how many seasons were you on? How early were you on first? Were you the first series?
So I was the first series of the Med, yes.
Yes. Where
Yeah.
was it prior to that?
Caribbean.
Oh.
So they'd done 2 seasons in the Caribbean and then they started in the Med and now they're everywhere.
And you're on a total of how many?
5. Well, 4.5 technically.
Yeah. There was an early departure in the last one.
Oh,
But you looked like you were done anyway.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, yeah.
You were giving
I
off that vibe.
and it's it was so frustrating because people were like, oh, you can tell her head's not there, blah, blah, blah. I was like, no, it wasn't. And they're like, well, why'd you go? I'm like, why the fuck do you go to work?
Yeah.
Money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you have a figure in front of you and you know that, that's probably going to be your last season, you go and push through because, we're trying to buy a house in Sydney, so you need as much money as you possibly can.
yeah, absolutely.
So,
And then
Yeah.
you look like you were garnering a lot of worldwide fans. People liked your straight shooting style.
yeah.
Yeah, and it looked like that people were really loving your work.
Yeah, and it was, I always say that like yachting in general is kind of like bipolar in a job. And then like below deck is like bipolar with schizophrenia in a job. It's like the yachting is crazy enough. And then when you're trying to do like 9 charters in 6 weeks with, people that have kind of been placed and cast strategically, it is really exhausting. And I think I definitely got to the stage where I was like, oh, I'm just a bit over this, I can't, it's like getting punched in the face over and over again. And you're just like, eventually you go like, okay, I would just like to have a nice cup of tea. I don't want to get punched anymore,
Yeah. And we all outgrow things as well. Do they often cast people to work on the yacht alongside you that were deliberately shit just so it would antagonize
There
you?
would have to be some because...
Yeah, I think so. Like you're not going to, someone like me who like hates table decor, for example. I bet you there's so many stews out there that got rejected from Below Deck Med because they were really good at table decor. So you're not going to cast people to like help me be a better chief stew. You're going to hire people like, especially that last season, it was just like that Lara girl at the start. She was so crazy. And then, she goes and then like, oh, the one person who I've really said that I don't want to work with again, Bugs, comes in. Yeah. And it's just like, well, bang, bang, bang. Yeah. And you're like, okay, guys, like calm down.
And we worked on the road for a long time together in a small team and that was kind of...
We were a crew of 5, sort of in a different part of the country every day, flying every day, hotel rooms every day, long hours every day.
And like we were lucky that we got to pick our team, early on. But you travel with people every single day and you basically live with them, and it doesn't matter how much... I mean, I can't even do that with Grant. It doesn't matter how much you like people. I
was wondering why you're booking all these gigs in faraway places.
You can't do that. It's not sustainable. It just, people grate on you. And I just can't understand how you could have survived it for so long. I think as well, especially towards the end where you are, at the start when you kind of come out of normal yachting, you're like a little, like you're kind of ready for it. Whereas, 5 years in, like I didn't work on normal boats for like the last 3 or 4 seasons of shooting. And so you're going from like a life of like walking the dog in the morning, grabbing a coffee, coming home to your husband or boyfriend every night at the time. And like you're living a normal life, and then you just get plucked from that and thrown into like the tiniest bunk bed and all these people around you all the time and having no control over, like just even going for a walk or things like that. You can't do that. So it's, I think especially towards the end, it really started grating on me more because I had such a normal life at home. And probably also too, we know how TV works. They probably started throwing in a few more little bombs here and there to make it a bit more dramatic.
It has to stay interesting and stay, we even watched the first episode of Lee's Below Deck the other day, and I was like, oh, they're not hiding it anymore. That's just straight reality TV people now,
Yeah.
I feel like at the start it was like a little bit more authentic because they were hiring real yachties, you know?
Which I liked. I like that. Something that's obviously constructed takes a bit of the fun out of it because you know it's deliberately manipulated. So therefore an extreme outcome is obvious but when you're watching genuine people who really kind of either want to make a go of it in that industry and you see them under stress and crack, that's far better than an influencer being there who's only there to be famous and then cracking. You know what I mean? There's no stakes. Yeah. There's no stakes.
Well, that's the thing is when you're watching somebody who is like working towards an OnlyFans account, like have a hissy fit on day one, you're like, is this like real genuine emotion or are you trying to get airtime?
Yeah.
And I think that's where I even got like a little bored towards the end because it was like, sometimes we'd be at dinner and, you'd see somebody just sitting there talking. And like, it's like, this isn't genuine. You just think you've made the mistake of thinking that if you talk a lot, you're going to get more airtime, which isn't primarily the case.
Yeah.
But I was just, I've never had any desire to be on television or have an Instagram following or any of that. So it was all very kind of authentic. You'd see like when I would pop, that was a genuine pop.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of more interesting to watch.
That's why it worked. That's
It
what
was more
so...
endearing. Like it really was. And I think a lot of people could relate to that a lot more than some of the other. I mean, I don't even watch it anymore. I don't think I've actually watched
has
it since
changed.
you left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How is your OnlyFans account going now, though?
Oh, it's popping off.
Yeah, it would
Popping
be.
off. My feet are breaking in the couch.
Breaking the internet.
Oh my God.
Those freaky Germans, they love that.
How do you find that you miss kind of the adrenaline rush, you know, sometimes just being back in? I mean, I know that you're busy. I just I guess
Of the TV aspect or the job?
of the job, I guess, more than no. I think you do.
No, I'm good.
I think you do outgrow stuff. So
You do. I'm surprised you can
Yeah.
actually watch it even today. Like I know that if I
I
burn
can't watch
out
the med. I can only watch the other ones.
too close to home.
But the other thing as well that I think, you know, you do see it on the show, but not as much as reality. And that is that it is such a physically exhausting gig. And, you know, when you're 25, 26 and you're running around in circles and you're getting drunk every 3 nights, and it's like, that's kind of one thing. Like, I think I said to you, I was like, I had margaritas for my birthday on Wednesday, and I'm like, it's a 3-day process to move on from that, you know?
I know. And to be able to have drinks like on the boat and then go back and have next to no sleep, get up, go again. Like, I definitely couldn't do that.
I said, I interviewed Lee the other day on my podcast, and
Can you refer to him as Captain Lee, please?
Captain Lee, sorry.
Thank you.
I always got in trouble for that. I'm like, Lord forbid I call you by your name. Yeah, I said to him, look, if there was a situation where like a chief stew went down or she got fired or something, I think I would go back for like a week or 2 to help him. But I don't know if I could like walk in at the start of the season and go, I have the energy to give it my all. Because the other thing as well, like before that, it was like before a season, I would always like go to Mexico or something for like 3 or 4 weeks and lay on a sun lounger and not move before a season. Whereas like going from, you know, working and baby and all of that straight into that, I'd probably collapse on like day 2.
Yeah. It does.
Which has actually given me a thought. Maybe I should try and do another season and then tell my husband I have to go to Mexico and lay on a sun lounger for a month to prep myself.
That's right. You do the prep, and then you know what, honey? There's a hurricane coming. The season is off. Look, I've done the lounge for Mexico. I wanted to go on the boat, but it's all off.
Yeah, didn't happen, unfortunately.
What's your relationship like with Captain Sandy? Because she was the captain. Wasn't she on your last season there?
Yes.
I read people's faces, and I said to you, she's tough, that woman.
That's kind of what you said.
Well, there may have been a swear
The
word.
PG version.
Yeah, she's got a real pointy nose and a real
So for those who might not know, explain
good
in
point.
your words how it all finished.
So look, I think it's a difficult situation because I understand kind of where she was coming from. And I think that if I felt like it was genuine, I'd be fine with it. I was, like you said, I was kind of done anyway, but it's like, I think, you know, like say, for example, the season before that, we'd done that when Travis had been drinking when we were on charter. It was this like nice little moment of like, let me know if you need help, blah, 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 blah. And that's like him getting drunk on charter as opposed to like him having medication for a mental illness, you know? So I think that it could have just been dealt with in a very different way. And I wouldn't say that she wasn't aware of it before then anyway, you know?
Yeah.
So it was to me, her and I had so many issues throughout the years. And I think this was a situation of like, okay, cool. I've got something now that production can't fight me on, you know?
Yeah.
It was very strange, and I know that, you know, as somebody who I suffered from postnatal anxiety, and so I straight away put myself in your shoes, and I'm pretty certain that there was a lot of women around the world who really felt for you, and to kind of, you know, have it unfold the way it unfolded, I felt was quite unfair. Yeah.
Well, I think as well, the thing, like, especially because obviously when it was happening, it was such a like weird experience that I didn't really remember like the details of everything. And then of course you're seeing things when you watch it, but it was just, I think a lot of people around the world felt it, but I just kind of, when I looked back, it was like, oh, are you flushing your drugs? I was like, why would I flush prescription medication like down the like you're kind of acting like you've caught me with an 8-ball or something here. Like, it's not like, these are prescribed medication. And the thing that was like so frustrating is obviously like in Australia, we have the prescription on the box.
Yes.
So, and I, like, she saw that and she knew that. So I was looking for my letter from my doctor that says I can travel with it. So this whole, like, you know, like I bought them in my sun lounger in Mexico or something. It's like, it wasn't unprescribed medication. The prescription was there on the box. But if you've seen that and you're asking me for something else, I assume it's the letter that I can travel with it, which I only ever really have at airports. So
yeah.
Well, we've traveled with medication, so we know, you know, as well, whenever we've had to, you know, travel overseas.
That was an 8-ball though, actually.
Got to get through the day somehow.
God damn, it's going to be a long 17-hour flight and I want to be awake for every second.
Everything.
So I totally got all of that, but I felt like it was a really unfair beat up. And I remember we were talking about it. We were like, wow, that's that, you know, from a production side of, we could tell why they did it because it was sensationalized.
Yeah.
And
do you feel like you were the victim of a storyline you were victimized by a story opportunity, I should say?
Yeah.
So I think it's really hard as well because, you know, I've always questioned, like, if I was season 3, Hannah, in that season, would it have gone through like that? Because you could obviously see, like, even when I was going out, because my relationship at home was very serious, I kind of knew that the best thing for my anxiety, for example, when I would go out is like, don't drink too much because I don't want like the next morning to have any kind of, this could be construed as this, or this could be appear as this on television and then ruin like my relationship with my now husband.
Yeah.
So I feel like I was like so chilled when we were going out. I was always coming home and just sitting on the dock and chatting with Josh. And like, so I wasn't that Hannah that they knew from a few seasons before. So I've always questioned if that was the case, would there have been more protection? Would they have gone like, we've got to look past this, or would it have gone down the same way, you know?
And how do you...
And I think, sorry. No, I was just going to say, and I think that sometimes is like, I feel like almost a bit victimized because of how I was going about the season, which was I want to do my job. I want to be good at it, but I don't want to go out and get blackout drunk anymore. It's just not really, it's not what I do in my personal life. I don't really want to do it in my work life. And I have something at home that's very important that's more important than this, that I need to protect, you know?
And you could see that. You could see that in you. You know, you'd grown up, and that's, you know, and these are pressure cooker situations where often when you're working that intense, that you often, if you're younger, you need that release. I'm guilty of doing it on the road, you know, a lot when we were traveling.
On the road? Yeah. Did it last night.
Okay, last night. I did it last night because life's a struggle. And, but I could see how disciplined you were, right? I could see that focus. You're going, no, there's a bigger picture at play here. So because of the notoriety of the show and the scale of and success of this globally, how did it affect you afterwards, knowing that sort of it ended that way rather than any other way? Did it hang? Did it annoy you? Were you pissed off? Like, did it mess with you a little bit or not? Or did you clean break it?
I think, you know, obviously I would have much preferred to end on, you know, on a good note. And to be completely honest with you, like, I didn't know how it was going to be edited and put together because you don't really until you see it. But I was like 8 months pregnant when that episode came out. So I really had to like keep my calm, keep my anxiety levels down. And concentrate on what was going on, which was a global pandemic and, growing a little baby inside of me. So I could kind of compartmentalize that and go like, you know what happened, you know what's what, and your family and friends do. So whatever happens, even if you are the biggest villain in the world to everyone else, you know the truth, and that's enough. And I just had to keep calm because, the world was in a stressful place. I was pregnant, and I just knew that baby that I was growing was so much more important than any bullshit anyone can say about me on Twitter or Instagram or
well done
in interviews,
Bloody hell. Give her a clap. Because that's
hard.
That's
it's
tough
hard
to do,
yakka.
man. That's tough to do.
We've had to do that at several points throughout, our lives, haven't we?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like not on that scale, but then
because it consumes you and it feel like the whole world's attacking you, and that's you feel like you got nowhere to run to.
Yeah. But I think the most important thing as well is like when you it took my husband like 2.5 years before he'd even let me post a photo of him on Instagram. He's not on social media. He's so far removed from this world. So to have that calming influence and, not somebody who's, in the public eye was very good during that because he could just go, look, I know, and I'm your partner, and whatever anyone else says is, what they say, like, who cares kind of thing. And I think that was good as opposed to having, another person in the public eye who was then getting pummeled through their stuff or in their job or anything like that would have added more stress. Yeah.
And in knowing too that, there is another life and that you can kind of hide away from all of that. I can imagine that would have been, a really nice feeling.
Yeah.
That's kind of
well, it was, I know it sounds horrible, but it was even like just nice that because of the pandemic, the reunion had to be done on Zoom.
Yes.
So
we watched that. That's right. We watched that.
Yeah.
Thank God.
I don't know how I would have coped like flying to New York and sitting in a room for 9 hours with all those people like right near me. That would have just been so stressful.
Were you tempted to just like go, oh, no, sorry, my Wi-Fi's dropping out. No, I'm losing you. Fuck off. Bye.
I was, but I still had to get paid. So.
But you handled it so well.
Yeah, you did. You handled it with class.
Because you were pregnant, weren't you? I just remember, I think I was pregnant at the same time.
I think you were.
Yeah, I think I was.
How old's your little one?
She turns 2 in February. So,
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Ava just turned 2. So.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
there we go.
And I was 8 months at the time. I was 8 months pregnant when I filmed the reunion.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so I would have been quite sick. Yeah, I just remember thinking, wow, you're a stand-up person, to be able to sit there and to be so calm and,
Especially at 4 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, well, that's so wrong, isn't it?
Because of the time difference.
Oh,
so hair and makeup had to arrive at like 12:30 at night.
That is odd. We've done stuff at that time of the night and it's not conducive for brain activity.
No.
Especially when you're pregnant.
Trying to answer succinctly and
also when you've probably had a lot that you wanted to say and to clear up.
Yeah.
So you have to.
And I think the hardest thing I found about the reunion was I don't know if it was strategic or if it was that the research hadn't been done. But it was like when the host is saying things like, you never provided a prescription. And I'm like, but I did.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then it was like, so it's hard to defend yourself when you have, obviously Andy's being told in his ear, like, no, she never like had a prescription. And I'm messaging the EP going like, I sent that to you. Like,
wow.
And what's the point in me being here if it's not going to be kind of truthful, No,
it feels like a bit of an ambush is what it feels like.
Yeah.
I do remember watching that and from my producing point of view, I was thinking they are trying to hit you because they've been hurt by the episode where it came out. That's, that was what I was thinking.
That it looked bad on them.
Yeah.
And they're trying to justify how they handled it. Yeah, but you could tell on your face how you could tell your face was just so obvious that you were right and they were wrong. Like, you know what I mean? Without even saying it, you could just tell.
You did. You handled it really well.
Yeah, well done.
Thank you. Well, no, that's the one thing that I said to Josh is I was like, because obviously, in such a stressful time, Like for me, I go like even with Ava sometimes when she wakes up in the morning and she's so full on all day, I'm like, oh my God, I need a glass of wine.
Yeah.
And I said it was probably really good. I was pregnant the whole time it was airing
Yes.
because obviously I didn't drink. So
Yeah.
my anxiety was probably really good because I wasn't doing the up and down of like, okay, I'm going to have like a bottle of wine tonight and that'll make me feel better. But then tomorrow I'll feel worse. And then you're doing the up and down. So I think it was probably very good timing.
It's so interesting to hear you say that, and we've spoken a bit about this on the podcast about your relationship with alcohol. Actually, we were going to get somebody on who they tried to go sober for a month and then said, "Wow, this is great." So I'm, now
Okay, this is starting to feel like an intervention.
Yeah. Let me turn my chair to you. Let's bring in
look,
your mum and dad.
Oh, the kids want to sit me down and say something to me, do they? Oh,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I've said in the past that I don't like my relationship with alcohol. I can easily binge drink.
Yeah, but it's interesting to know because we've only just probably cottoned on to that. The next few days you feel quite down on yourself and quite low, and a lot of people I don't think have learnt that about themselves. And to hear you say it quite openly, I think is really refreshing.
Yeah. No, I'm we started like after Wednesday for my birthday, we're going to do like 3 weeks. And, it's like I've never gone like, are you an alcoholic? But I think there's somewhere between like you don't have to be an alcoholic to have a dependency on alcohol or to use it as a bit of a crux.
Yeah.
Because it is sometimes like, especially like for someone like both myself and my husband traveled a lot in our 20s where it's almost like acceptable because you're an expat or because you're a yachty and things like that. And then when you get into the mundane kind of everyday life, like sometimes it's nice to have a few little wines and get a little bit fuzzy so that you forget about your day of, changing diapers and getting whacked in the face. But I'm very aware as well that it's the worst thing for my anxiety because I can feel my moods going up and down, and I found when I was pregnant, that was like so amazing to me. I was just so happy all the time. My moods were wonderful. And I think it was probably the hormones, but a big part of it was there was zero alcohol in my life,
Yeah, and it's very easy, but, for someone with anxiety, alcohol can be a nice thing because it calms the brain down. You stop hyper-focusing on whatever issue is spinning around in your head at a million miles an hour. It gives you a break from all of that talk and that exhaustion, so you can kind of just calm it down a little bit. But then, you're right.
But then you find it hard to relax if you haven't had a drink. So,
and, like I'm sure, you guys are aware, like even I don't really like massively drink anymore. Like in terms of like, I won't go have like a 12-hour session or anything. Or if I do, it's a very rare occasion. But
like a Wednesday?
It's also it's like a Wednesday, yeah.
I'd be asleep after 2 wines.
See, but that's the thing is it's almost as well like it doesn't particularly need to be the like massive splitting headache hangover kind of thing to affect the next day anymore. You can have 3 to 4 glasses and you're just fuzzy. You're still fine.
Yeah.
But you just go like, I just feel a bit and a bit fuzzy and I'm not that like big bubbly energy for my child or, Yeah,
it's very true. And speaking about, when we worked on the road, every day we would have dinner in pubs and we didn't have kids and it was just normal. And then we came off the road and I remember we went out for dinner with some friends who just had a 9-to-5 job and it was like a Monday night and we're like, oh, we'll get a bottle of wine. And they're like, on a Monday? And we're like, yeah, why did they not have wine on a Monday? And they're like, do you drink during the week? And we're like, you don't?
Yep. Is 3 bottles a night a lot?
Yeah, and it was like when we that was our excuse for so long, we just thought, but
our life had just adapted that way.
Yeah.
Because when you're in country areas the whole time, the only place to have dinner is at a pub and then a pub comes with a beer and a beer comes with 5.
Yeah.
So it easily, became a habit. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But it's something that I'm too scared to completely call it from my life, and I have no idea why. And the fact that I'm scared that I can't say just quit scares me even more.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I don't know why I can't just go let go of it and just go, look, because we go, maybe we don't drink during the week. We had this week, but like most weeks we don't. Or we'll just save it till like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then what?
I'm just laughing.
Well, normally
So
We don't drink in the week, except for this week.
this week, yeah.
because Grant flew
Okay, not
back,
a great example, everyone.
Grant flew back from America, so therefore it's not a full week.
Yeah.
This is the
I'm in a different time zone, so mentally, so
Yeah.
no, it was but the fact that I can't go.
You can't just say I'm going
quitting
without
drinking.
it forever.
Yeah.
But does it have to be that extreme?
Kind of feel like it. Yeah, I don't know.
Because
Could you just do a month? Like we've started 3 weeks now. And the funny thing is as well, is there's always something.
Yes.
So it's
Yes.
like, we'll have an event. Like I've already got like 4 things in my calendar for the next 3 weeks that I'm like, oh, that's going to be really weird to not drink at.
Yeah.
But you've got to remember as well, no one else gives a fuck as long as they can drink.
Yeah, that's
They
right.
don't care if you drink or not.
That's
Like-
exactly right. But I think
Yeah.
I've gone to plenty of places before, where I haven't been drinking for various reasons, trying to have a baby or mostly trying to lose weight, doing, detox or whatever. And I've always said that I think sometimes people who are quite shy and most people don't realize that Grant is quite shy. He finds it very difficult to go to social things and not have a drink because it's scary or
It's
difficult.
a social
It's
lubricant, though. I
Yeah.
do the same thing. And everyone always assumes that if you're in the entertainment industry
Yes.
or if you're in television, that you're just super comfortable at all of those things. And I am not.
No,
like,
me
I got invited to the Arias, and because I couldn't have a +1, I was like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
Because I just, especially in a room with all those massive personalities
Yes.
that you get in this industry, like I don't have anything to say until I've had 2 glasses of wine and I can kind of ease into it a little bit,
Yeah.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
And that was one of your biggest fears about going into I'm a celebrity jungle as well, that it was going to be
You're
all
amongst
big
alpha
personnel.
personalities, and I don't thrive in alpha personalities. I retract because I'm already shy anyway. And I thought I can't meet them and don't want to meet them on that energetic level. So I go backwards.
Yeah.
And I thought, it would be horrific as a result of that. But the idea of going out like in a social environment to something like the Arias would make me feel ill for the 3 days before.
It was terrible. It was terrible on TV.
And I'm a professional entertainer. It is, and but everyone expects you to be operating at 11 the whole time.
Yeah.
And I can operate on 11 when I'm making, the show that I make, but outside of that, I can't be at 11 the whole time. So I'm actually 100%
because it's
the other direction.
exhausting.
Yeah, and that's what as people always say, God, it must be really difficult to live with Grant because he's like an Energizer bunny. And I think,
Only if I could get him off the couch.
is he really? Yeah. Do people, have they had expectations about you? I guess that's a, good segue into, because so many people probably feel like they know you from the show.
Well, I think as well, the funny thing is a lot of people meet me and they're like, oh, you're super chilled out and nice. And I'm like, yeah, but the show that I film is I'm at work.
Yeah, that's right.
I would always get surprised when I would cop shit on social media for coming down on somebody who wasn't doing their job. And it's like, but that's my job.
Yeah.
If one of the girls isn't doing their job, it's my job to let them know they're not doing their job. And if you meet me in a social setting, I'm not going to be the same person as I am at work, just like you are probably not the same person you are in your corporate job as you are at home, It's a show about my job. So
how funny people come out, oh, you're actually nice. Oh, well, fuck you.
Yeah.
I was until you said that.
Well, it could have been something about your looks, like that woman who said, remember when she met me, she's like, do they do a lot of photoshopping in the magazines. She looked very different to what I expected.
Oh
Was
my
that a Chris-
God.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Some people, I actually have the worst foot in mouth as well. Like Josh says to me sometimes, he's like, babe, you can't say that. And it's because it's like for years and years, I was trained to just say whatever comes into my head goes out my mouth. Like I'd get a pay rise for that. And now you're telling me that when we're at our daughter's daycare, open night, and I'm like, oh, you're pregnant and she's under 2. I shouldn't say that to a woman.
Oh, that is so good though. But that is also so endearing because that's something that, that's a skill I think that we certainly don't have.
Just the ability to say how you feel?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
We're trying to learn it a bit more, but years of being in TV, you can't go, oh, you're really shit, or oh, you're annoying the crap out of me. You have to just
also years
grin
of
and
being
bear it
people
and-
pleasers in general as well. You tend
Well,
to,
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're afraid of rejection, so we always say whatever they want to hear.
We need to hang out with
I
Hannah
thrive
more.
on rejection. So
Yeah, well, that's fabulous. We need to hang out with you more.
Yeah.
So being a mum, that's what I wanted to ask you about because I love how open you are, about the meltdowns at the beach and, and how it's not all smooth sailing. And I think that that's a real gift for other mums to know that, somebody like you sometimes struggles like the rest of us.
yeah. I spent nearly her entire nap on my birthday crying.
Yeah.
No.
It's just
Poor
sometimes it just gets exhausting. And, I think especially when you're used to, I'm kind of a thinker of A plus B should equal C, And when you can't work out what's going on or what's going to fix the situation or what will make, your 2-year-old happy, the frustration just builds,
And you're probably also used to directing people and saying, okay, so, Ava, you pick up the blocks and then get your nappy, right, and then we'll change this. And kids, they just want to throw a spanner in the works because they don't work to anyone's schedule.
No.
And it was your job to be a hyper organizer. You know what I mean? If that Russian billionaire needed his vodka, you would go get the bloody vodka. Whereas
Yeah, exactly.
there is no A to B with kids.
No. My one of my best friends, her godmother actually gave her this electric car for her birthday, and she had just been an absolute terror the whole morning of my birthday on Wednesday. And I was like, take her out in the electric car because she loves it so much. And I've just got a remote. And we were about 1 kilometre from the house, and she worked out where the on-off button was.
Oh, geez.
And for 50 minutes, we made it about 15 metres down the road because every time I'd press the remote to go forward, she'd turn it off. And it was just nearly an hour of, and I was like, and I can't leave the car, but I can't carry them both.
Yes.
And then if the car gets stolen, I was trying to Google how much it would cost just in case I'd left the car and it got stolen so that I could replace it and not tell her that it got stolen. But it was
frustration.
And when you're trying to be logical, I was like, Ava, we can't get home if you keep pressing the button, or it's to you it's so logical, and to them they're like, I don't care, I just want to fuck with you, you know.
Yeah, I know very well.
And you thought you'd left all those personality types behind on those mega yachts.
I know. I literally said to my friend, I was like, I swear she's the spawn of Satan. Then I was like, oh, wait a sec. That makes you say it doesn't work.
They do say that our kids, especially our daughters, are coming back to haunt us like what we were like as kids. They have elements of, and I see that in my daughters. Yeah.
And this is the thing. The hard thing is I really love the personality traits that frustrate the shit out of me about I want her to be strong and stubborn and not take shit and do what she wants and be opinionated, and I love all that about her, just not when it's directed towards me. Go see your father.
Yes, that's so true. That's because you don't want to knock it out of them. You want them to have all of those traits. Yeah, we're the same.
Keep the spirit, but do as I say.
Yeah,
yeah,
when I
exactly.
say it.
And then you're sitting there on Google going like, okay, babe, today we're trying low energy parenting. Let's give that one a shot. Okay.
What's low energy parenting? This sounds like...
It's like never, basically, as it sounds, like just super low energy all the time, like never raising your voice, never getting excited, never like showing frustration. It doesn't work, by the way. It's fucked. You don't want to try it.
I was going to say,
never get them to school.
I feel like low energy would be an impossible feat in a house full of like 3 ADHD girls, females. Yeah. It's like,
I think I said to you when we were chatting on Instagram, I'm like, anyone who's like got more than one kid, like any single parent, like I just go, you're amazing. I have no idea. Like on Tuesday, I was like, oh, let's start trying for another one. And on Wednesday, I'm like Googling whether you can drop a 2-year-old at the fire station, you know, like, so it definitely goes up and down a lot. But
oh, and I know that we were the same. When we had our first sailor, I found that was such a culture shock. It was just like everything changed. And then we had Scout and we were really nervous because we thought, you know, it's so hard with one. It's just everything changes. It is so difficult. And then we had Scout and she was extremely difficult as a baby and probably should have broken us, except we'd moved to the country and had a lot more support. And Scout was so difficult right up to 4 that we kind of thought, you know what, like if we can survive this, we can survive anything. But I used to look at people and think, how the hell do they have 3? How do they keep 3 alive? How do they...
Our neighbours have 5.
Yeah, our neighbours have 5.
Like, Jesus.
Yeah,
they just keep them in the paddock though.
Oh,
Yeah, they do. they just tie them to a cow and
Mind
just
you,
let them wander around.
Mind you, their kids are like, they hardly speak. They're the best behaved kids. They're not like ours,
really
like
are.
climbing on roofs.
I don't know how they do it.
Yeah.
I really don't know how they do it.
But I think once you get used to one and then you survive a second, third, fourth, fifth, you know, easy.
It's all the same after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like
Except you now own a minivan. Which,
that's
that's a threshold I'm not prepared to cross. You know, as a car racing guy, you know what I mean? Like, we got an extra row of seats in the back of our car, all right, but we're not going to a minivan because that is at which stage my penis will fall off and I'll no longer see myself as a man.
Well, you could go and work on below deck and, you know, hang out. Actually, you wouldn't, but you could not survive on below deck because you don't like people.
No.
and you don't like...
I survived and I don't particularly like 80% of people. So I think that's what they actually liked about me.
Probably.
Yeah, I think so.
But there's been... You were helping some really drunk woman one time. I can't remember what the scene was. And Grant was like, nah. Throw her overboard. No, couldn't deal with that shit. No.
Not you overboard.
No,
the person you're being way too kind helping.
Yeah. She was
Well,
annoying.
I think as well with below deck, it's like these people have like paid a certain amount of money to come on. So they're trying to get like a 1-week holiday in 2 nights.
Yeah.
So I just go like, I personally, I'm not the type, like I don't like hair of the dog. If I've had drinks one night, I don't want to drink the next day or the next night, you know? And these people are just like animals. They just like, from like when they get on to when they get off, they just want to be wasted the entire time.
Yeah. And it's fun. Look, if we go on a holiday, like if we call it first night fever, right? It just happens. You're arriving at your bloody villa in Bali or wherever we're lucky enough to have a holiday. And then
Sydney.
old Frank the Tank here just goes nuts. And then, you know, we spent 3 days recovering and we can't help it.
Yeah.
You're worked up and this is what you've been saving for and looking forward to for so long.
But they are rude. That's what I don't like. They're obnoxious and rude. And
that's the thing is I've always said, like, you know, you can get drunk, but like I'm like literally the type that'll end up like giving some obscene tip or something when I'm drunk. Like my babysitter the other day, I asked her to like come over and just do like an hour's clean up at Ava's birthday, and I gave her like $100.
Yeah.
I'm like, no 15-year-old needs to make $100 an hour, but I just get like
we get
chatty and friendly.
That's what we wondered why we
When's
had a
the next
babysitter.
birthday party? I'll come and I'll clean up.
We wondered why our babysitter member used to always ask, "You going out for a big night?" Yeah, I'll come.
Our babysitter, she was getting really pushy. Like, you guys look like you need a night out together. The relationship look like it's struggling.
Yeah.
You got to be close. You got to get close to get out there. And we're like, maybe we're too generous.
Because Grant would say, "Did you pay her last night?" I'm like,
Oh, mate.
I don't know. There was a period there where we were working a lot and like flying, and then we'd come home. We'd be like, "Let's go on a date night," and and then we'd go and celebrate something and catch up with friends, and then get home at midnight. And I'm sure I overpaid her by a lot. I'd hate to think.
Mate.
Yeah.
She's just bought a house in Sydney. No, I'm joking.
Why is our babysitter's car nicer than ours?
She's driving a Lambo. There's something wrong here. Oh my God. You are an absolute legend, and I know that this is your day with no child, and I know what that feels like because this is my day with no child. So we won't.
Yeah. No, you took me away from the laundry. How dare you?
Oh my God, that is I hate the laundry. I said to you the other day, I just want to be really. Yeah, I say it every day. I just want to be really rich so that we can get a laundry person.
I think, or just get a babysitter who double duties.
Yeah.
Or start babysitting yourself.
Yeah, that's right.
But only for drunk, generous people.
Yes, that's right. With no washing.
They're so blind they can't see what money is in their purse, so you have to reach in and just grab it out.
I hate washing so much. I get really shitty when the family wears clothes I've just washed, folded and put away. And they come out and I'm like, what are you wearing?
Well, the
Excuse
thing
me.
was on top of the pile.
Yeah, I'm like, what the hell are you wearing? Did I just wash that? Get that off. Get something dirty on. Yeah.
This is not how we're supposed to live.
Oh,
No, thank you.
I know. Well, as soon as you work out how to get so rich someone else can do your laundry, please let me know.
Yes,
Yep.
absolutely. We're there.
Arms dealing apparently is where it's at.
With the vodka. How can people find you and give your podcast a plug? And
Yeah, for sure. So my podcast is Dear Reality, You're Effed. So I interview reality stars about all things reality. And I'm on Instagram. It's like Hannah Ferrier 234, I think. If you look up Hannah Ferrier, you'll find that. There's numbers after
There'll
it.
be a blue tick.
you look amazing, by the way, and I know that you've done like a Jenny Craig stint.
Yes.
Good on you, because that is hard. Everybody thinks, you just, you stick to it and the weight drops off, and I did that a number of times, and it's hard. You've got to actually commit to it, and it's worked for you, and you look amazing.
Oh, thank you. No, it was really good actually, because I was just getting a little bit, obviously as well, like having a baby in COVID, you're like,
yeah, I know.
all you were doing is like drinking wine and ordering Uber Eats because you hated your life,
Yeah.
So it was like very difficult to like bounce straight back. But when I had the wedding planned, I got onto it. So, and Jenny Craig was amazing. I actually found it, I was quite skeptical at the start, but I found it really easy and amazing. So
yeah, it's worked for you. You look great. Not that you didn't
thank
before,
you.
but I know what it feels like too after you've had a baby, and everything changes and you feel a bit frumpy, and to take a bit of control back feels good. So
yeah, exactly. When you've got the bad side of sneezing, at least be able to finish your old clothes, I say.
Yes, that's right.
Well, thanks for sharing some time with us. I really, really, really enjoyed this chat. Loved your work on the show. So thanks for sort of opening up and revealing about those times and the new times. And we wish you all the best moving forward from here.
Yes,
Of course. Thank you so much. And in 3 weeks' time, we'll have a glass of wine.
Woohoo!
Yeah,
We'll be there.
All that talk of not drinking anymore can get stuffed because it's Friday.
Oh, love your work.
Thank you so much for having me.
See ya. Have
See
a
you,
great
mate.
day.
Bye.
Bye. Loved that. Brilliant. Yeah.
Yep.
It makes me want to go to the Mediterranean.
I don't think she sold it like it was amazing, though.
I know, but just
But
like
it's in the south of France or something like. I've obviously never been, so that's why I kind of look at the show to sort of see all these, like the cliffs of Santorini and all the Greek islands, Mykonos, and
just be amazing.
I've only ever seen it on Instagram.
Yeah, see, Instagram doesn't always tell the full story. But you know what? I liked the idea of the 3 weeks on the beach in Mexico. Actually, I could do 3 weeks like next to a pool anywhere.
Yeah. Does sound dreamy.
It does.
Does sound really dreamy. Well, hope you enjoyed the chat, everybody.
Yeah, leave us a review and we'll be back, next episode. Can't
Maybe
believe
I
it's
got my ship's captain's license and I became the captain on Below Deck.
Does that mean that I need to be the chief steward?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd be very good at bossing people around.
No,
I
you'd
don't
be the
have-
worst at it.
Yeah.
You go, that's okay, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And you do like 9 people's jobs. You'd be in the laundry, you'd be scrubbing the decks.
I wouldn't be in the
You'd
laundry.
be putting the
though.
jet skis into the water for
Yeah,
the
I would,
dickheads that
yeah.
have paid to come on here. And you'd be doing everything.
And I'd be building resentment. I can feel it
You'd
already.
be holding
for the
people's hair back when they're vomiting, on their one night out,
Yeah.
that week.
Yeah, I'd be mothering them all. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't want to do that.
Nah,
I don't-
man.
No.
That's not for us. We need to just,
That maybe we could be the rich people who just go on the boat and
Yeah, that sounds
And
fun.
just be looked
How do
after.
we become rich?
I think I need to marry a Russian.
Oh, damn it. Can then you adopt me at least?
I don't know why. Surely there is some
Legitimate ways to make $1 billion? If you talk to anyone who's made $1 billion, they often say, you know what, you got to do some stuff to get this.
Yeah.
You
Wow.
know what I mean? You got to be pretty ruthless.
But actually, I don't think that I would want $1 billion because
Come
a lot
on,
of the
mate.
people that I know who are very wealthy, they're not billionaires. They're very lonely and twisted people, and
Money does change you.
it does.
But it's also just as hard to go through life without it. There are different struggles. But yeah, it's not the silver bullet to complete happiness. No.
No, it's not. It's
And
absolute-
anyone who's got a lot of money will tell you that.
Yeah. Like I spoke with someone the other day who said that they're extremely happy, but they work 3 jobs, and they said that they feel comfortable that when their kids ask for things that they don't have to say no. Like that was their yardstick for feeling happy. And I thought that there's a lot to learn from that.
That's as good as it gets.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
If a bill can be covered that doesn't, compromise your quality of living, that's a great level to get to.
You don't even know how much it cost to fill up our car.
I don't even know how much
the other day.
a lettuce is.
Well, it was very expensive,
don't know.
like at the start of the year. Yeah,
I don't know.
because we don't eat
I can
lettuce.
tell you how much a
anymore.
club sandwich is in a hotel because I live in goddamn hotels while I make television.
How much is a club sandwich?
I don't know. I'll
Yeah.
never look.
Oh, yeah. 'Cause you
When
don't
I'm
think
hungry, I'm
about-
hungry. They're actually bloody dear.
To live is expensive. It is
Yeah.
really expensive. Like the other day, I filled up the car and I nearly fell over. It had only been 2 weeks that I'd filled up previously, and I you get used to the way that you drive, and I drive a lot, and it's crippling because we almost can't afford to drive anywhere. I'm gonna have to get a push bike
With like
with a trailer for
4
the
seats
kids.
on it.
And because I'm not super organised, because I know
Oh,
when
really?
I speak to
Never noticed.
I am on some fronts, but
Okay.
not with, like some parents have worked out every single night of the week, a month in advance, what they're having for dinner.
Yeah.
So they know their ingredients and their shopping lists a month. I don't work like that. I go one day, you know what? I feel like a roast this weekend. Let's have a roast. And then, and because I don't have that organisation, I probably do a lot more Ks, driving into
Explains
town.
why we have 2-minute noodles 3 nights a week. That's for sure.
Or eggs. Yeah.
Oh, eggs.
Yeah.
Well, we ran out of eggs.
Yeah, we did, and I haven't bought any.
And
more.
our cream was off. When we tried to
Been
make,
a while.
we tried to make some eggs, some scrambled eggs,
with cream in it, and I put the off cream in and
Yeah.
went through 5 eggs.
which
Yeah,
is
well, that was not
sort of
smart.
highlighting the organisation of this household a little bit.
We've had a lot going on.
There's always a lot
So,
going on.
Yeah.
Look, no one's perfect. Don't strive to be because it's impossible.
No.
Just be you, man.
Yep.
Just be you.
Okay.
Catch you later, everyone.
That was lovely. Okay.
It was nice to have a glimpse about, what the others live like.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really like her. I feel like I've known her.
You guys look like best friends, I got to be honest.
Yeah.
I started off
She's my
pretty
new
hard in this
bestie.
chat.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of was backing out of it because I could just see this. You guys were connecting.
Yeah.
It's like you were both holding a red in your hand as you were chatting. and it was going to go to like really fun places had I poured another one. You know what I mean? It was one of those kind of growing friendships.
Because I think she's really, I like how she's really honest and very, straight up and no bullshit.
It's
and
nice when you can meet someone and just kind of get straight to the point without doing that long dance of politeness, which
but
I'm
also,
guilty of doing.
When people say no or they tell you what they really don't like that, which is something that I can't do easily.
You managed to tell me a fair bit.
Yeah. It's taken me a while.
Others.
But I find that when I meet people and they're like, yeah, no, I wouldn't do that. Or, they show you straight up their boundaries. You know that they're not bullshitting when they say, no, I really like you or something like that. I mean,
look, it's that kind of personality type is healthy for many reasons. Because
Yeah.
you get what you want. People don't encroach on you too far because you're strong with your boundaries and you verbalize it and you let them know. But if you get what you want when you ask for it.
yeah, that is true. And I'm starting to ask for things a lot more.
Yeah, like cream that's not off for starters. So I can just make some scrambled eggs.
Or can you do the washing and then I can get
I
some
jumped
shopping?
in the pool with my clothes on. That's washing.
It's not
Just put
the
some
same.
suds in there.
It's not the
It was a
same.
public pool.
The only thing that I think Hannah and I would have difficulty with in our best friendship, in our burgeoning best friendship, is the fact that she said she would not do hair of the dog.
Yeah, and you are a big
Because
advocate for hair of the dog.
Yeah,
You've
if I'm
always
feeling
been that.
very unwell, then the next day, especially if you're on holidays, it's like a champagne with orange juice for breakfast, and then perfect for the rest of the day. Some people have like a Bloody Mary or something.
That's big I noticed that's huge in the States when I was there.
Is it?
Yeah, everyone does Bloody Marys.
That's disgusting. I hate tomato juice, but why are they all doing Bloody Marys?
I don't know.
Do they drink a lot?
I drink a bit, but yeah, it's kind of
I
like
thought they
every diner I went to for breakfast has it on the menu, and you'll look around the room and there's several people having them.
Really?
Yeah, it's quite a big thing.
See, that would make me feel really tired for the rest of the day.
Yeah,
Unless they're not all having big nights, are they? Or...
I understand. Yeah, if you're recovering from the night before, it can help stave off some of the hangover.
Yeah.
But yeah, starting the day that early with alcohol is you're in for a long day.
Yeah, you'd be asleep in about half an hour.
Yeah.
But I thought that they were all going like vegan and all doing, cannabis oil and like not drinking and
You're talking about a specific type of person in like LA, whereas the most of America is not like that.
No, I know, not most of America, but I'm talking about LA. I thought that was what they're like now. No?
Yeah, LA is pretty disciplined.
Yeah,
In
right.
terms of everyone's very body conscious. Yeah. But it's
Annoying.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is.
So did you have a Bloody Mary?
No.
No, that's disgusting.
I had a mimosa one morning.
All right. Yeah, well, that's
That's all right. It's got a bit of OJ in it. It's got a little bit of a
a
kick.
bit of vitamin C.
Yeah, you beauty.
All
Right, enough of our drinking habits.
Yeah.
Go and enjoy your own. Love you.
Bye.
It's All True, the podcast with Grant and Chezzi Denya.
Bye